Yes.
Hey, we're on the air now.
We're on the air now. Hey, Omega.
Yes.
So, this past weekend was the second biggest weekend in wrestling. Would you agree with that statement?
King of Trios was this weekend?
No. Not that.
Shimmer 55 was this weekend?
There's only been 55 Shimmers? Really? That's surprising to me, since Shimmer's been around forever. No.
Shimmer 55 is the name of the festival that I like to attend. We'll leave it at that.
Oh dear God. Let's drop a bombshell to start this off. Apparently, Omega BR likes to cross-dress. Let's just start the show. Hello everybody and welcome to Woo Get Serious. My name is Gunnar and that is Omega BR.
There's actually been 75 volumes of Shimmer as of this podcast, and maybe one day my poor ZZ will be on one.
Oh dear Jesus, that show. Joining us this week is a technical producer, Mr. Yank and BDS.
It was broke. I fixed it.
Good job. And also joining us this week is the robot-y one, the weird one, NetJester.
Hey, you try going through an iPod through a crappy cell phone through 3G. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's your friend NetJester live and direct from the Who Hut Mongolian Grill in beautiful downtown Billings, Montana, saying, "Can we get this damn thing over with so I can eat?"
Well, you should be eating anyway. But this week we're only going to do a little bit of news, and then we're going to get right into all of the wrestling that happened this weekend with the NXT pay-per-view, the SummerSlam big thingy, and the thing that happened on Raw, which was interesting, to say the least, but I'm sure that we have opinions on that. Alright, so here we go, and I'm just going to rattle through these, and we can respond as we go. Rich Swann and Biff Busick are said to be on WWE's radar in a big way.
Okay. I know I'm going to get whacked for this, but I don't know who those guys are. Could you give me a quick refresher?
Well, I know Biff Busick. Biff Busick is, he was CZW champion for a while, and he's been an indie darling for a little bit now. And Rich Swann, well, he does flips. Lots of flips and flips and flips.
Flips for days.
Oh, that sounds like a good combination.
Alright, and then NXT stars could soon make pay-per-view bonuses for Special Mike Takeover, which they should be doing anyway.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. If you're WWE superstar, period, regardless of if you're NXT or main roster, what have you, you should be getting the same thing as everybody else. Unless you're Cena.
Here's the thing.
Beautiful wife, too.
Here's the thing. You have a concert, right? And you've got, I don't know, Bruce Springsteen is your main attraction there, right? And then before Bruce Springsteen, you have, I don't know, fucking Tiffany go on stage. Tiffany, not going to draw as much, so not going to get as much as the boss. You know what I'm saying?
This is true, however, at the same time, I would argue that NXT is a pretty hot product right now, and that the people buying it are the people on the WWE network, and whatever if whatever subscriber pay-per-view revenue they get, they should share a little bit.
I agree. That I agree with. I'm just disagreeing with Matt Jester because he's wrong as usual.
WWE is doing a Performance Center All Access for a limited number of fans on September 28th for $1,500. Does anybody know what that would include?
Better include they better have one of those gold toilets like they have in Taiwan you could use.
As far as I know, you get to interact, of course, with the NXT stars. You get to attend a promo class and have your own personalized promo video. As a keepsake, you get to eat lunch with them. You get to basically attend practices and things like that. You get to kind of help with the ring and the production a little bit. Just as far as like seeing how it's done. A lot of it is just it's almost a fantasy camp in the sense that you're not. You get to sign a 1-day contract to be like I forget what they call it, but you're basically being a special guest, basically.
Oh, all right, cool. That sounds interesting. It may not be worth the $1,500, but I think that's how much they charge for tryout matches anyway. Which is really funny to me.
Yeah, I don't think it's too awful. I think it's pretty in line with some of the things that other major sports organizations might give you. Of course, that $1,500 doesn't include travel and most of your food. Yeah, I mean, you get to do a Q&A, you get autographs, you get. I think they're even going to do like a private event just for the people that sign up for this thing.
Next news bit's going to go overseas here. WWE filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against CTH, their partner in Malaysia and Thailand, for unpaid rights fees. So WWE trying to get their money. And TNA is planning on taping TV in India later this year. The Ring of King connections aren't dead yet.
I was going to say it. I thought they did pretty well over there.
It's like the 80s here, dude. Like over there, it's like the 80s here.
Yeah. So maybe they should just go over there and stay there. I mean, I'm not trying to fuck TNA, but look, you suck over here. You're not making any money. Why not go there where you're making money and just make money?
Well, they weren't making enough money. That was the problem with Ring of King.
Exactly. And am I out of line saying that we all liked Ring of King?
Nope, Ring of King was really good. I will watch Scott Steiner scare away Indian marks for the rest of my life.
Thank you for reminding me that was a thing. That's going to be my what to watch later, is Scott Steiner chasing Indian marks. I thought they were going to fucking stampede.
No, they stampeded away from him.
No, I mean, I thought somebody was going to get stomped and die from them stampeding to get away from him.
Right. Okay, Booker T's Reality of Wrestling now has a TV deal with CW39 in Houston.
Oh, well, that sounds good. Have we ever seen anything about Reality of Wrestling?
No, we haven't seen anything Booker T related at all.
Well, I hear it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Okay, we'll just have to wait for it then.
I mean, think of it like, Jerry Lawler's still got his Memphis wrestling, you think about some of the shows they've had and everything. It's kind of like that, only in Texas with Booker.
Alright, so let me do the last news bit here, because I don't like this one, and that is that The Rock is starring in yet another movie, an adaptation of Disney's Jungle Cruise Ride. And I'll tell you what, I don't like that. What they should be doing is an adaptation of the Jungle Book with The Rock as Baloo.
Well, they are doing a new Jungle Book movie.
Oh, for the love of fuck. I was kidding.
You know they're doing a Jumanji too, right?
Oh, God damn it.
I know, it's terrible. I got really upset when I realized that they're remaking Jumanji.
I don't even want to live on this planet anymore. It's bad enough they did the one with the space. You know what I'm talking about?
Which
like
mountain?
It's Jumanji, but it's in space. No, it's not Witch Mountain, you fool.
No,
It's exactly the same as Jumanji.
Yeah.
But it's in space. And it sucked. It was the worst movie I've ever seen. And I have seen...
They're doing a remake of The Scorpion King as well.
What?
Starring Kanye West.
Oh, yeah. You had me going for a second there.
So, that's it for the news, but we're going to jump in here to the 15-minute time limit, which is going to be really long this time.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. I was divvying up points.
Alrighty then, 15-minute time limit.
Paul Heyman, enough!
15-minute time limit. We're going to get into NXT. The NXT TakeOver Special was from Brooklyn, and they sold out the Brooklyn Center. That open was really cool. I assume that you guys saw all of this.
I thought it was a little...
Thunder Liger in a WWE ring. That made me come right there.
I wasn't talking about that.
For the love of fuck, Net Jester. There's some things you don't talk about on the air.
Ew. No, I'm not talking about that at all. I'm talking about the Triple H entrance.
I thought it was I didn't think it was... Yeah, it was kind of... I don't know if I would call it cool, but it was... It wasn't bad.
It was pretty unique. I haven't seen anything else like that. Apparently, the story goes that he trusted the audience to do it, and he told them to just be quiet, and so that he could open it. And people yelled at him saying that, "Oh, nobody's going to do it." But he trusted the audience, and they did it. So there you go.
Well, for the most part, they did it. I heard live reports that that people were chanting Benoit at him.
What do you expect? It's Brooklyn.
Yeah, he actually heard that and kind of told them to knock it off. That's not funny. Something like that. But anyway, Liger was the first match along with Tyler Breeze and his New York collection.
Oh, good Lord. I hope they paid those women some kind of bonus because, damn, they looked horrible in those outfits.
It was a really interesting match. Pretty much the Dalton Castle Jushin Thunder Liger match from ROH back in May, I believe it was. It was July, I forget which. But yeah, it's the same match with the same kind of person. It was interesting. The story goes is that apparently William Regal really did basically call up Liger and ask him if he wanted to wrestle in New York for NXT for one night, and he said yes, as long as NGAPW was okay with it, which was really funny to me.
Well, it was a chance. I heard that, Liger likes to visit the U.S., and, it was an opportunity to come visit and, basically have an excuse to do so, get paid, have a week in the country, so,
Yep. And there were a lot of other...
Time I say Jushin Thunder... Sorry, man, we've got a delay going here, but real quick, anytime I see Jushin Thunder Liger in the country, I'm happy, period.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's what can I say here? Oh, what was I going to say here before you interrupted me? Well, I mean, he wasn't the only NJPW person that was here, that was in the States too for this particular event. I believe Okada and Gato and Red Shoes was here as well.
And then there was the goddess of kick your ass in, who was also there, and right next to Ric Flair, Kana. My God, that surprised the hell out of me.
Yeah, that was pretty out of nowhere. That
Kana
happened
signed
later
with
in
the
the
WWE.
night. That would be the implication,
You know
yes.
this for a fact. You know this for a fact.
Yeah, it was reported somewhere. It's a fact.
No, it's not a fact. It's not a fact just yet, but it's pretty heavily speculated. They did spell her name with an extra N, just like they used to spell Taz with an extra Z. So, but anyway, the Liger match. Yeah, you're right. It was a pretty typical Liger attraction match, which is to say, a nice opener. Got the crowd pumped up.
Yep. I enjoyed it, but I think whatchamacallit. I wish that it was a little longer, to be honest. But you know,
Yep, never can get enough of Jushin Thunder Liger, that's for sure. Wish it was longer, but it was a good, fun match. He made fun of Tyler Breeze. He even played with the selfie stick. I'm okay with this.
Next match was the tag team title match between the Vaudevillains and the reigning champs, Blake and Murphy. They brought out their female equalizer, who was Blue Pants, and you knew as soon as the Vaudevillains came out in blue attire who it would be.
yep, they all came. As soon as they came down to the ring, you know exactly who it was going to be. Whatchamacallit. This was an okay match. Glad to see the Vaudevillains winning. They looked really good, and it was fun.
That's the most important thing, especially when you're dealing with Blake and Murphy, who, just from my personal point of view, they're really good in the ring, I think, but they can be a little dry on the mic sometimes. And, you know, as long as they get in the ring and get their groove on, you know, everything's fine.
Well, it's kind of interesting. You have these two teams that they have good NXT gimmicks, but a lot of people say they won't really translate well to the main event, or rather, the main roster. Blake and Murphy's gimmick is basically just to be as obnoxious as possible with the dubstep entrance and bringing in Alexa Bliss to be their, the beloved Bliss to be their escort, so to speak. And then you have the Vaudevillains, who have a very fun, very, very gimmicky gimmick, but would it work on the main roster? I think it would, but then again, you kind of have to look at the tag scene in general on the main roster, which is basically, here comes a tag team with kind of a hook, and here they win a few matches, and they might even win the titles, but then after that, it's kind of on to the next thing. But as it stands, I was happy to see the Vaudevillains win. I think they have a lot of character. That's what I'm getting at. And Blue Pants is certainly, for someone who's not signed, or I don't know what her deal is exactly, but very over in Brooklyn or Blue Pants City.
Couldn't tell you what her deal was. Could not for 1 second tell you what her deal was, especially when she had a contract with NXT. And now that she's technically doesn't, I don't know what's going on there either. You know, Blue Pants is up in the air.
Well, I guess it's mostly, kind of like the Samoa Joe deal, where he's not exclusive or anything, but he does have a deal, and he does have merchandise and everything. I think they appreciate the fact that she has a hook that people like, but I also think they don't necessarily want her to be an attraction. They don't want to sign her to a full contract. They don't, and I think at the end of the day, there might not be that much wrong with that. I mean, if it gets bigger and bigger, of course, then you pretty much have to. But as it stands, I think as an accompaniment to NXT, as many folks are, Liger and Kendrick and everything, and Joe, of course, it's not so bad right now. Next was Samoa Joe and Baron Corbin, and I didn't think this was a bad match or anything. It was very hard hitting, but Corbin is one of those guys. He's kind of big and he hits hard, but having a match, I don't know. It probably the most uneventful match of the night for me. I know NJ's on a bit of a delay here. He's on his phone in a parking lot. You can just imagine what he's doing over there.
What I'm doing in the parking lot is waiting for this to get over so I can go and eat. But I will say this about Samoa Joe versus Baron Corbin. Two big hosses, two big teeth-rattling MRFers, and, they brought the pain to each other, and that was what this match was built up as, is these two just knocking teeth in with each other. So, that was good from that point of view, but, we just gotta see what Samoa Joe and Corbin's gonna do next, because, I can't see them doing this match forever.
Well, it's interesting that Joe made Corbin pass out, basically. And, Corbin being this guy whose gimmick for a while was having these short matches, now he's found Joe. I mean, are they going to keep going? Or is Joe kind of going to ascend to the NXT title, which he kind of, that's his goal. But then again, would they put the title on him with him being sort of an outsider, so to speak?
Well, nice, but I'm not going to bet money on it.
We had the debut of Apollo Crews. He defeated Perfect 10 Ty Dillinger. Dillinger with the 10 shaved in the back of his head.
Yeah, I fell asleep during this match. Anybody else?
Well, I think it was your pretty standard debut match. Crews looked good. He looked very energetic. I liked how he was like, that's me, when he was looking at his Tron and everything. But of course, we all know who Crews is, and he's a very capable performer. However, the thing about NXT is you really have to have a hook. That's kind of what the NXT brand is built on right now. And Apollo Crews, right now, as he stands, being a good performer, doesn't really have a hook. So that's kind of what at some point he will need to evolve into.
Right. I mean, he's fresh and he's new, so I mean, it's not terribly surprising that he's kind of bland at this particular point. But he was pretty happy to be there. I mean, that was obvious.
Well, shall we move on to the double main event?
All right.
Let me say, I think that it's true that it was a double main event, but the more they point that out, the less true it feels.
I totally agree with that.
Which is pretty sad.
I mean, just let it be. Everybody knows what a big deal the women's division's become in NXT, and if you put this match on, there's always the idea that the last match is the main event, and that's just it. But everybody knows. I mean, the women have main evented truly main evented NXT before, so all of this, and plus the fact a good transition into this Stephanie coming out and doing her little speech and getting her little plug in. I mean, they got to quit with that because it's not inherently offensive because she's just being proud and everything. But at the same time, again, they're they keep telling us when the match itself. That tells you more than anything that could ever come out of her mouth.
Okay.
So what was...
So, the match itself. Bailey... Go ahead, man.
It was Bailey defeating Sasha Banks with an emotional moment afterwards. According to the Melts, apparently Trips and Steph cried after the match because it was so emotional for them. It was just interesting to see the two horsewomen going at it, and Sasha's entrance was fun, and Bailey's entrance was really good, and Bailey's tribute to Dusty was pretty touching as well.
So let me just... It was a very, very good match, but let me just get everybody's opinion. On the internet, on Twitter, they're saying what happened afterwards when Charlotte and Becky also came to the ring to congratulate Bailey, and Sasha sort of stepped out of her heel mode for a few seconds to congratulate Bailey. They're comparing that to the legendary or infamous, depending upon your point of view, curtain call with Triple H, Diesel, Razor Ramon, and X-Pac. What did you guys think?
It certainly seemed to be a reference to that. And I think, it is a proud moment for these NXT divas who have transcended NXT now. You have CB and CB of PCB and Sasha on the main roster, and they are at a point where the divas can get 2 matches on a show, and they can get 20 minutes. That being said, I think now's I hope they I think now that all of, well, not Becky, but now that they've all kind of had their moment, I kind of hope they stop doing that. I mean, not to dump on the emotional moment, and the meaning behind it and everything, but at the same time, if after every title win you have something like this, then it kind of messes with the dynamic, and I think that'll bring an interesting. A lot of people saying it'll be interesting now that Bayley is the champion. Who does she really have left to face? And that kind of brings in the idea of, I guess, your Dana Brooks and your Carmellas and, God forbid, your Eva Marie's.
Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ.
Eva Marie got booed out of the building. They taped matches for NXT previously.
She was there.
No, they taped matches for NXT previous to this. Bull got a win, and Zack Ryder and
don't spoil. It's future TV here.
Well, future TV, my ass. Spoilers. Whoops. Sorry. But no, there was a bunch of matches that were taped and whatnot. But it was interesting to see the full circle. Haven't all of them held the NXT Women's title?
Not
all
Becky.
Four?
No, not Becky. But Becky, she kind of, the fact that she was chosen to be on the main roster and everything, I think she kind of, everybody, that match she had with Sasha kind of woke everybody up to Becky Lynch, so,
Well, we'll see how that turns out for them. We also have, let's see here. So that match was really good. I don't know if it was one of their best, but it was really, really good. The finish was pretty spectacular in my opinion. With that reverse Rana into the Bailey Slam thing.
Yeah, they did a lot of turnbuckle, high risk stuff, and that's one of the reasons the women have been so prolific on NXT, because they do a lot of things that, it's not just a matter of doing things that the divas never did, it's a matter of doing them every match, doing new things, different things.
All right, main event time. Finn Balor defeating Kevin Owens in the ladder match to retain the NXT title.
Good match. Good match. Nice play of the use of the ladder rather, bringing it into play. It was pretty on par with their Japan match.
Oh, these two guys hit each other hard. It was pretty nasty at times. Not saying that the wrestling was bad, but I got the feeling that these two guys, that Owens really didn't want to have a match the next day. Jeez.
Some of the spots I thought were interesting. The coup de grace off the top of the ladder was pretty nice. Owens running up to the ladder and then not running up the ladder, but running next to it and then just punching Balor in the face was really funny.
Yeah, I think it was a nice feather in Owens' cap because I think he's going to be sticking to the main roster for the foreseeable future.
Right. Plunder. I thought there would be a little more plunder in this match, but sometimes you have to go without it. But it was really good. I enjoyed it. Any other thoughts about the NXT pay-per-view?
Very good show, everybody. I would even almost say overall, maybe it's not fair because this was a 2-hour show with mostly big matches. But I think overall it did. When they have a big NXT show right before a big pay-per-view, that the main roster tries to step it up, and you could tell. But I still think that NXT probably edged them out in totality.
Yeah, NXT definitely edged them out, for sure. But these matches weren't as good as the NXT matches, and I thought the NXT matches was really a 2-match show. The Balor Owens and Bayley Banks matches were the two matches that you wanted to watch. But Taker and Seth Rollins and Cena was really what you wanted to watch on this show too. When it should have been, Owens and Cesaro and the triple threat of trios, with the women. And hell, even the Ziggler and Rusev I thought was going to be awesome too. But it was great until the fucking finish. But we'll get right into Sheamus defeating Randy Orton.
Okay. Yes, let's move on here and go from the Sublime, which was NXT, to the semi-ridiculous, which was SummerSlam, and the Moose of Shame defeats the Viper, Randy Orton, in an okay match, but, you won't be remembering it the next day.
Well, it's Randy Orton versus Sheamus. Name one thing you remember from any specific Randy Orton versus Sheamus match at any point in time. Yeah, Nick fell asleep.
Randy Orton went for an RKO, and then he hit it.
Yeah, no, that could be any of them, which is the joke. Because it's all shit over and over.
But this one, he hit it out of nowhere.
Now, to be fair to these two guys who have had several matches with each other, there was the one where Sheamus launched himself through the ropes and Orton hit the RKO as he was doing that. I thought, that was different. That was new, I believe. Sheamus's heel tactics, he kept rolling out of the ring after those big moves. That was something you don't usually see. And Orton went for the punt as well. Orton set up the punt and Sheamus dodged it.
Oh, punt. I thought she said something else at first, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I thought he said hunt too.
Sheamus did win, which I think really, why not? Between these two, so.
Right. Yeah, it's not like it matters. Things that do matter, though.
In the actual match of the night.
New Day defeated primetime players, the Los Matadores, and the Lucha Dragons to win the tag titles in a fantastic what is that, 4-way match tag. It wasn't a tornado tag, but it was a no DQ.
It was a big clusterfuck tag thing. It was wonderful. They did a really good job of pulling it together, and the New Day is once again doing awesome things. May I remind Yankum that he is correct in saying that the New Day is doing awesome things. Speaking of awesome things, and since we don't have Raw on here to talk about, I'm going to talk about the thing on Raw that happened with New Day. How about them Dudleys?
Yes, please.
It might actually get a kick, kick up the rear of the tag division to have them on the roster again. It was a great surprise. Apparently they're here to work. They're going to be on the road. They're going to be on SmackDown this Thursday.
Yeah, I had no idea. And I marked my fucking balls off. I still haven't found them. They're around here somewhere. But when I do find them, I'll be attaching them and then marking and losing them all over again when they come out on SmackDown. I was so stoked. This isn't like DX coming back, where it's like, oh, DX is back. Time for the weed and dick and fart jokes. I mean, I like weed and dick and fart jokes, but it doesn't mean anything. And the Dudleys are just completely different. Because I'm not sure how to word it.
We're one of the most influential tag teams of all time. They can still work and provide something new and fresh into a tag division that's seemingly kind of stale.
Right. They're one of the few teams that could be brought back and matter. It was cool to see the New Age Outlaws back. It didn't matter.
It did for a second. Well, it did for a second, but it didn't in the long term.
Right. But I think the Dudleys can matter. Will they matter? I don't know. Probably not, knowing WWE. But they could matter, and I'm going to get my hopes up just to get crushed all over again.
Well, we're not talking about the Rusev match yet, so you might want to hold off that crushing until later. Alright, Ziggler and Rusev was a double count out. What a BS match.
Wow, yeah, that was fucking awful.
I mean, that's...
Yeah, Go ahead.
No. This is the kind of thing where, where I said those 10 matches on the card were going to get problematic. They obviously want to continue this feud, and nothing wrong with that, but these kind of screwy finishes people don't like.
Well, they like the screwy finishes if you
foreshadowing.
If you do it every once in a while, it's fine.
And you do it right.
It's like this. Like, I love fried rice. Okay? I really like fried rice. Fried rice is good. But I don't want to have fried rice for every fucking meal all the time.
Okay, a reminder, I'm in the parking lot.
Yes, we know, NetJester, you're a lot lizard.
Let's move it along, people.
For those of our listeners who don't know, a lot lizard is a prostitute who hangs out in truck stop parking lots in order to find clientele. Today you learned.
The Mongolian grillers would disparage that remark, but whatever.
The big Stephen Amell match where he actually did perhaps the best almost any celebrity has done in an actual physical match.
Yes.
Yep.
That crossbody off the top looked pretty good. It wasn't the best crossbody off the top I've ever seen down to the floor. But it was pretty good.
Took some balls.
Oh, yeah, he could have been hurt and had his career fucked for life.
But he was safe and he did a good job.
Yeah, for a guy who was a civvy,
I liked it.
Great.
The impressive thing to me is that not the moves he pulled off, like the enziguri and the crossbody, but the fact that he was the guy getting beat in the corner, waiting to give the hot tag to Neville.
And I don't like the fact that King Barrett and Stardust split up already. I really wanted them to be a tag team, and I really wanted them to do well. But Stardust and Neville in a feud, and having it, be like an actual mid-card feud, would be really nice. I would like to see that.
I think it's going to be good. I think all the comic book stuff and the goofiness might get old, but the matches themselves are going to be fantastic, I'm sure.
Speaking of a match that wasn't fantastic, Ryback defeated Miz and Big Show to retain the Intercontinental title. Now the wrong guy has the Intercontinental title right now.
You know what? I'm fine with the big guy having the.
Do you think Miz should, or do you think?
I'm fine with him having it. Don't get me wrong, but there's a better feud for it, and it's later in the card.
But really, who else are you going to put? Because it's not like that title means fuck anything at all. Who else do you put it on?
Owens and Cesaro. Owens and Cesaro.
But they don't need a title. They don't need a belt between the two of them to make that a good feud.
Not yet. Being the key word. I believe that to extend that and to keep that going, to make them relevant and to have them do something completely awesome, putting the IC belt between the two of them would be pretty nice. I know Cesaro's held the US, but has he held the IC?
I would argue that putting the IC title between them would actually be detrimental, because I'm pretty sure we all know what happens with people holding that title.
Well, beyond that, that obvious, thing, because the U.S. title isn't going anywhere soon, apparently.
Well, here's the thing. You guys, and here's another thing I was right about, John Cena holding the U.S. title being a good thing, because what did I say would be a good thing to happen with that? Somebody to beat Cena for it that was also good, and that it would put them over even more. And what happened? We're going to talk about that later, but I just want you guys to know that, again, I was right, and I'll argue with you in a minute, because in the meantime, you want to talk about Reigns and Ambrose versus Wyatt and Harper. This match I actually kind of did not pay any attention to.
I liked it. It was all right. But since we're not talking about
it was definitely the Raw match of the
Yes,
card.
it was definitely the Raw match.
Well, I mean, the few times I looked up at my TV and it was on, and I was like, whoop-de-doo, what does it all mean, Basil? And Basil came, and he was like, yeah, fuck, it doesn't mean anything.
But what happened on Raw was pretty fun.
Oh, yeah. We now have a third member of the Wyatt family.
That dude is fucking scary. God damn it, I always forget his name with the sheep mask, the white sheep mask.
Eric Rowan.
Rowan, yes, Rowan is good. Rowan is a big guy. He's kind of scary looking. This guy looks like the kind of guy that takes your soap and throws it on the floor and then tells you to pick it up.
The guy's name is Braun Strowman. He is a bodybuilder and weightlifter champion.
Well, of course he is.
Basically, he's the white Viking Mark Henry.
Because why? Because Vince loves his mastodons. Somebody probably got him this guy for his birthday.
Yeah, he didn't look, for a guy who hasn't really had a presence on NXT or anything, like so many other debuts as of the past couple of years. He didn't look too shabby so far, I guess.
I thought he looked scary as fuck. Like, I would not fuck with that guy. At all. Speaking of things that I wouldn't fuck with, Seth Rollins defeated John Cena to retain the WWE title and win the U.S. title. John Stewart.
John Stewart.
I didn't quite hear you. Could you say that again?
Just
You can't even say it. You can't even get it out.
fuck it. I don't care. Due to John Stewart. You know what? It's Cena. They're not going to let him go over clean. But someone good, the WWE champion, has defeated John Cena to take the U.S. title and is now holding both. Whoever takes that U.S. title off of him, not Cena, because it'll be Cena taking the WWE title in some kind of shenanigans, contract stipulation bullshit, I'm sure. Whoever takes that U.S. title off of Rollins is gonna get fucking made.
Not necessarily made, I would say, but they would definitely get a nice boost to whatever ego they need or whatever and whatnot. But I think
there'd be quite a bit of heat.
It would be the fucked up thing if Ambrose did it.
I would be okay with that.
But Ambrose was the U.S. champ in the Shield, if you remember correctly. He did nothing with that title.
But him going back, getting his revenge and his title back, and then maybe they let him actually do something with it.
By the way, Seth Rollins, official Triple Crown champion.
Oh, you're right.
Mm-hmm. And the end of this match. Okay, let me just say, I loved the end of this match. The end of this match was perfect. I knew exactly why John did it. I knew exactly what he was doing. It took him to explain it on Raw for the rest of us to get it. But I knew exactly what he was doing, why he did what he did, and whatnot. Here's the thing. Now think about this for a second. All of the champions, all of the people who won championship belts on SummerSlam wore and NXT wore white and gold.
Oh, yeah, that's something we haven't talked about yet. They color-coded the victors for some damn reason, and it all had us scratching our heads.
Yeah, that was kind of weird, yeah.
I didn't even notice, to be honest with you.
Maybe
even the vaudevillains with their black and blue. Is it black and blue or is it white and gold?
Oh, fuck you! You get the fuck out! No,
that was the joke.
Well, how long you been waiting for that, Jim? How long you been waiting to pull that one?
We will not have that. That's.
You didn't need to kick him from the channel.
The match itself, I thought, was pretty good. It had you had Rollins doing those 3 flips to the outside on Cena. You had him do the frog splash. You had him hit the AA. He did the knee to the face again. That was a big moment. But pretty good considering it was a match destined to end in a silly way. It was pretty good up until that point, and I liked the Stewart thing too. The only thing I didn't like was how Stewart he got in the ring and he starts looking at both of them, and it just felt a little too telegraphed to me that he
got a little too much.
He wasn't going right for Rollins. He was like, it was pretty obvious he was going to hit Cena.
Yeah, he spent a little too long in there, but he hit Cena and then Cena lost. Now the next night on Raw made me really angry. I didn't understand why. Okay, so Jon Stewart is a generally well-liked person, and he's doing the general right thing to do in this particular circumstance for a lot of people. And a lot of people agree with Jon Stewart with this particular instance. But at the end of the day, Vince McMahon...
Well, because a lot of people hate Cena.
That isn't even the point here. That is not even the point here.
I know where you're going with this, and NetJester, just shut the fuck up for a minute.
I've got I got two different directions to go with this, to be perfectly honest with you. The first one is, why would you have the face, your face of your company, take another man who is also a face, also not a wrestler, also not a person that you should even bother with, physically speaking, and perform a finishing maneuver on them in the middle of the ring? Why would you do this? Why? This does not make sense. It doesn't help anyone. It just makes you look like an asshole.
I'll tell you what it was. It was Vince saying, fuck you, to everyone that chants Cena sucks.
There you go. That's exactly what it was. It was fuck you, dude, because you're not right. You're not right, and we're going to have Cena break the title record, and he's going to get 16, and he's going to get 17, and he's going to get 18, and he's going to get 19, and he's going to get 20 too. So
I don't think he's going to get to 20.
Frankly, I think it was more about the highlight reel, the fact that they had Stewart in his first major media appearance since leaving The Daily Show, and not just as the host, and because if it was only that opening segment with Foley, that was a pretty weak segment, to be honest.
That was fucking hilarious. I loved that. It was like, I'm going to bring out Foley because he's been my friend for all of these years. What do you mean I have to go out there with Brock Lesnar? I thought you meant The Rock. Nope. And he walks away.
By the way, I really thought The Rock was coming out after they said that.
I did too.
I would have bet money that he was coming out.
That would have been funny, but obviously it didn't happen. But the other part of it is this. He is the face, right? Beyond attacking an old man who is not a wrestler and being a general bad guy, doing all the bad guy things in this particular feud, why in the blue hell would you sit there and blame him, what he did, and not sit there and, say that you're just going to go after Cena again, or you're just going to invoke your rematch clause, or something like that, because I didn't get it. There was no point to that. Beyond Vince saying, "Hey guys, fuck you guys and your liberal point of views and your incorrect ways of thinking. We're gonna do it our way." And Ric Flair got paid to be Vince McMahon in that segment, and I think that was a pretty. It was actually a significant segment in wrestling history, because it's Ric Flair, the guy who won 16 world titles, quote unquote, because he's won more. He's won a lot more that were actually recognized as world titles at the time that he won them. It was more like 30 or something like that. But if you count all of that, he's saying, yes, please, obliterate my history. I would like you to break the record because, I have no respect for myself. Well, well, this is exact change because it makes no sense.
And it's bullshit. They're kind of taking advantage of Flair, because at this point, they can try him out there to do and say anything for, $50 in a bottle of Thunderbird.
Oh, God! That's a bit much. Okay, but we do need to move on with this before Gunner starts sounding like Alvin the Chipmunk.
I just think that... again, they wanted this big media moment where Stewart not only hosted, he got in the ring, he had the big shocker, and then they double up on Raw, and they just try to bring some kind of, it didn't even really matter, they just try to bring another moment. It wasn't a matter of trying to make it really make sense, even though it kind of did, but not really,
Yep, and it was stupid.
Hardly the first time that Cena has, attacked somebody for that wasn't really, anyway.
Yeah, Kevin Federline. There you go. Team PCB defeated Team Bella and Team Bad exactly the way that I predicted.
Who cares?
Which is the saddest part about this whole segment, because, that Divas Revolution thing that we were worried about, it's happening. It's right here. It's right there in front of our faces. The people who won were supposed to win. Now get that stupid belt off of Nikki Bella, retire the Bellas, and get them the fuck out of the division.
Here's the thing. Until the Bellas are willing to get out of the way, those fucking camels, it's not going to matter.
And Nikki's going to break the record, and it's going to be bad, and it's not going to be good. Okay, so who wins the Divas title here? Is it going to be Sasha? Is it going to be Flair? Is it going to be, Charlotte? Or is it going to be...
dear God, please let Charlotte... Everything.
But is it going to be Becky?
Let Charlotte everything.
Well, yeah, Charlotte's really good, but at the same time, like Omega was saying earlier, you should give the belt to Becky, because if Becky wins it, then she'll have a title, and everybody else has had a chance with a women's title at that particular time. I could see Becky winning this.
Okay, so I'm going to suggest something out of left field here. If we're going to have a Divas
That's
Revolution
everything.
Hold on. Let me put the negative sign into the box here. Okay, go ahead.
Whack-a-moles. But anyway, I'll just get this out. If you want the Divas Revolution, if you want us to be taking them more seriously, if you want them to have more exposure, then we need a mid-card for the Divas, and we probably need a tag belt for the Divas.
Whoa, we're
whoa.
You're not TNA here.
No mid-card, but maybe tags.
No,
hold on.
We're not TNA here.
I know,
they already have 2 matches.
It could be fun, and it would give more space for Divas
and
the card.
No, not necessarily, because they're be stuck with the two.
If they're tags, if they're in tag teams, they're not going after the Divas match, the Divas title, and just sitting in the back doing nothing, wondering why they can't get a shot to even try. A tag division would give a space for new and upcoming divas and established divas to help those young divas expose themselves, metaphorically of course, to the fans without them having to languish doing nothing because, Nikki Bella's got the title and fuck every last one of you.
I disagree with the tag belt thing, because it would just be too busy, and they would try to put too much on the show, and it would just make things a little more complicated than they needed to be.
There's 3 fucking hours. Most of it is fucking the 20-minute talking segment in the beginning of the goddamn show. I'd rather watch a Divas fucking tag match than the 20-minute talking segment.
Well, I agree with you, but at the same time, it's just way too busy. Way too busy. Overthinking it. Speaking of things that we've overthought, Kevin Owens defeating Cesaro. Neither of these guys are going to touch the WWE Championship in the next 3 years, are they?
Well, I'd like them to, but I just don't see them doing it, that's all.
No, it's just not going to happen. You can give up on your dreams now. Let your dreams be dreams. Don't do it. Just lay in bed and cry mercilessly, masturbating with a sharp knife.
Basically.
Yes, limit your M words, please.
Masturbating?
God, it's a good thing I've got headphones on. I'm going into the restaurant, by the way.
Oh, dear God.
You're lucky we're on the air. Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
The level of trolling that's going to happen when we go off the air, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be epic. All right, so...
let's wrap things up, then. Did you have anything to say about Owens and Cesaro?
I guess not. Jesus. Omega BR?
Not particularly. I thought it was well done, but ultimately kind of,
pointless. It's a mid-card match, basically. It's here's these 2 guys that you really like, and they're fighting, and who fucking cares why? It doesn't matter. This is just something to kill time until the main event.
And to give Owens his win back.
Right.
That he lost last night.
speaking of wins being given back, we finally have, to finish off the 30 million hour time limit, Undertaker defeating Brock Lesnar by KO. Holy shit. This was pretty good, I thought. I thought the shenanigans were kind of funny, and
I actually thought it was a wonderful match to really end things off and to top things off for them. I can see a Lesnar Taker 3 happening, not at WrestleMania though. Maybe at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
I can see that happening.
It's going to be Taker Sting at WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's going to be Taker Sting at WrestleMania, and we'll get to Sting in a second here. But this match was good. There was a lot of great symbolism in it, and I enjoyed the weird finish thing. I actually thought it made sense. But the biggest thing for me was the middle finger while he was in the Kimura.
Oh, that was so. Yeah, the Hell's Gate.
Hell's Gate. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the most hardcore thing I've ever seen in a wrestling match. And I've watched CZW.
Right.
That's the kind of thing that you would expect from somebody like Stone Cold or, I can't even think of anybody else. Like, that kind of, like, just, yeah, you got me, but fuck you, buddy, because it doesn't matter. I won because you tapped, which is exactly what happened. Because the Undertaker did tap.
Bret Hart thing all over again.
Right.
All right. Omega, did you have anything else to add to this?
Well, we didn't even talk about the fact that he tapped. The Undertaker tapped out. Yeah, go ahead, Omega.
Yeah, he did, and I really didn't like the finish, to be honest with you. I thought it was, if you bill this as, the match 15 months in the making, bigger than WrestleMania, or however many months it was, match too big for WrestleMania, etc., you can't end on such a goofy, complicated finish like this, because my whole thing is, what's the end game? Who does it help? Does it help The Undertaker, who, did tap out and had to use a low blow to win? Does it help Lesnar, who, lost the match and probably isn't going to be seen again until the Madison Square Garden show in a couple of months against The Undertaker?
The answer to your questions is yes. It helps Taker because he got his win back. Even if he had to fight dirty, fighting dirty is only fighting dirty if you get caught. Ric Flair taught me that. And it helps Lesnar because even though he lost the match, he didn't lose it clean so much. And back to helping Taker, Lesnar may have been flipping him off the whole time, but Taker choked him the fuck out. So, he choked out Brock Lesnar. Not too many people can say that.
Right.
So, again, it's Lesnar's contract here, and, we're probably not going to see him till the Madison Square Garden show, so everything's up in the air again.
Not really. He signed a 3-year contract. So we'll end up seeing him whenever we see him again. But the thing I wanted to talk about after all of this, the last thing that we're going to talk about for this gigantic thing, gigantic talking segment from this gigantic week of wrestling, is the Sting thing that happened on Raw. So to explain to me something.
Yes, this was... Go ahead.
So explain to me something. How did Sting move the statue?
Are you kidding me? You can't expect, little details like this to get in the way of a goofy surprise.
Here's what happens. Okay, before the crate or whatever the stand for the statue is to go out, Sting comes up with a ball bat. And he points it at the two guys that are supposed to wheel it out there on a dolly or a cart or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, get that fucking statue off there, or I'm gonna brain you." And the two guys are like, "Well, fuck, I don't want to get hit in the head with a baseball bat. Better do what the crazy man wearing makeup says." So they move the statue off. They let Sting stand on it, put it out there in the ring, and bada boom, bada boom, you got a Sting in a box.
Sting in a box.
It's my Sting in a box, baby.
You can't have me say naughty things right here and now.
Yes, we can. Because we're going to have you read the birthdays here in a minute.
Oh my God! Don't you dare!
So, all right, it's time. Okay, so that's it for the 15-minute time limit. For the bajillion-minute time limit, I want ice cream.
Seriously, that was like a 2-hour time limit.
Well, it was like 8 hours of wrestling this weekend. We didn't even get to the ROH show.
Well,
so
spoiler: Eddie Edwards or what's the other?
Davey Richards.
It doesn't matter. Same fucking one. One of them probably won. Let's go to the drive.
All right, with the ratings this week, Yank of DDS.
Impact.
God, I want you to know that.
Damn it, Net Jester, just for the love of God, just it's not your turn. Shut your mouth. Impact scored 332,000 viewers, which is up 19.6. Hey, that's pretty good. ROH dropped 2% to 145,000. That's not so great. Neither one is really doing very good. SmackDown drew a 1.7 rating. That's up from the previous week's 1.57. The show averaged 2.434 million viewers. Excuse me. Up from the previous week's 2.083 million. Raw drew 3.721 million. That's down 1.5%. Excuse me, again, from 3.77 million. And apparently we don't have tough enough data because who fucking cares? The Yeti guy and Sarah win. And fuck, I don't know. Who cares?
Not ZZ, basically.
Oh, because that would have been so much better.
Right. And with the birthdays, it's gonna be you, Jester.
I have to say one thing in defense of... Okay, before I get started, I have to say one thing in defense of ZZ. Did you see the outfit he came out in? That gutted gator, oh my God. It was indefensibly bad, and yet he pulled it off. So, speaking of things...
I will say this. ZZ, probably a legit badass, considering he literally wrestles with alligators. So, I mean, maybe not a wrestler, but still, like, he's got that going for him.
Oh, and we interrupt this program.
Breaking news. Spoilers for the SmackDown show. There was a 6-man intercontinental bout between Zack Ryder, The Big Show, The Miz, and 2 other guys. Zack Ryder is your new intercontinental champion.
Bullshit! You lying fuck. You're so full of shit.
My God, really? Are you kidding me?
No, he's lying.
Yes, I'm kidding.
He is fucking lying.
Yes, I'm kidding. God damn it, Yank. Why did you have to react like that? I was trying to get Jester to pop.
Because, well, first off, I didn't realize that's what you were doing. I thought you were fucking with me, and I'm not having that bullshit. I will shut this shit down right now.
All right, birthdays, Net Jester.
Be careful, Gun. He's in a channel-kicking mood today. But with the birthdays, person, place, and thing, with the 25th on this week, we have none other than the legendary Crash Holly and the Ivan Koloff, plus David Young. Then on the 26th, we have the Canadian Destroyer, Petey Williams. On the 27th, we have Jazz and the Great Khali with Milano Collection, AT, and none other than G.I. Joe, America's Hero, Sergeant Slaughter himself. Then on the 28th, we have Ricky Reyes and Christina Von Airy. Von Airy? I thought it was Von Erich. Oh, well.
Eerie! If you could, like, just step up the literacy, this is a professional show. God damn it.
As in Erie Canal? Okay.
Yes, that's what it says.
Yes, I know. I'm screwing with you, Yankum, in case you hadn't noticed. But moving on the 29th, we have Sin Bodai and Percy Cunninlingus. And if you've had your lingus cunnied, then, never mind, I'm moving on. And on the 30th, we have Scott Stanford. Yeah, it's a good thing I don't think any of the staff heard you and your joke, but moving on the 31st, we also have Jeff Hardy, Mickey James, and Tank Toland. Those were your birthdays for this week.
You forgot,
Scott Stanford on the 30th and Oliver Klausoff?
Yeah, Klausoff.
Yeah, you forgot those guys, sorry.
Well, it only says Scott Stanford on the 30th on mine, so...
No, it says Oliver Klausoff.
Yep. And you missed something on the 26th, too. But whatever, it's fine. And now it is time for This Week in Wrestling with Omega BR.
Yes, This Week in Wrestling History. Circa 1962, where Luther Lindsay defeats Fritz von Groening for the NWA Pacific Northwest Heavyweight title to begin his second reign. Jump to 1966, where Giant and Moose Evans defeats Luke Graham and Carl Van Bronner in Nashville, Tennessee to win the Mid-America NWA World Tag Team title. And in 1991, Sting defeats Steve Austin in a tournament final for the WCW United States Heavyweight title in Atlanta, Georgia. The title had been vacated when Lex Luger won the WCW World title. The brackets for the one-night tournament were bizarre, as there would have been 6 wrestlers in the semifinals and 3 wrestlers in the finals before the heyday of three-way matches. The tournament wasn't booked with a draw and a double DQ in the first round. And that was This Week in Wrestling History.
Trails.
We were the same joke. That's terrible. Alright, let's hit the points.
Alright, here are the points. Since I figured out this new thing with the spreadsheet that I can do, God bless America and the ingenuity of the people at Google for making it possible for me to figure out something simple to do with this. So let's get right through it. Negative 271 points to NetJester for showing up. Good job there, buddy. Negative 15 more points to NetJester for sounding like a Dalek and ruining Daleks for me forever. Good job. 10 points to Omega BR for having the information needed about the NXT thing, aka being useful, unlike some people. 10 points to Gunner for reminding me of the Scott Steiner chasing Indian marks away at Ring King thing. That will never ever get old. 15 points to Omega BR because he actually got me with that Kanye joke for a minute there. Negative 10,000 points to NetJester for talking about coming on the air. This is a family show. I can't even say it without laughing. This is a family show, you fucking dick. Alright, there we go.
Family.
Negative 10 points to everybody for taking too long in the NXT section, especially because I didn't get to watch that. 25 points to Gunner for remembering how right I was about the New Day. Negative 10 points to Gunner for stupid white, gold, black bullshit. Die in a fire. 5 points to Gunner for being right about the Jon Stewart, John Cena thing. I pretty much agree with you. Negative 10 points to Netjester for being half right about the Divas division. It would have been negative 20 if you'd been completely wrong. Negative 15 points for not being able to read. Guess who that's for? Just take a stab in the dark, Gunner.
Netjester?
No, it's for you. It's for Netchester. And finally, negative 15 points to Netjester for missing names in the birthdays list. I don't have sums for tonight's show because I kind of just forgot to do that. But I do have totals, overall totals for scores. Gunner, you are sitting at negative 27 overall. That's up from the negative 47 you were at before this show started.
Chip it away.
Yeah, chipping it away. You're going to be in the positives. Eventually, maybe. We'll see how that goes. Omega BR, you're up to 98 points from the 83 you had at the start of the show. Netjester, you are at... Hold on. I need just a second. Negative?
If this is going to take a while, I'm going back to the buffet.
Negative 20,162.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing. There are certain things, like I know we're on Spreaker and we cuss and we do things, but there are just certain things that we don't talk about on this show. And the thing that he talked about is one of them.
All right, so that's it, I think, for this week. Oh wait, hold on. We got match suggestions. All right, so what should we watch this week in wrestling? Netjester.
Oh, sure. I'm at the Mongolian Grill Bar, up to my elbows in pork, chicken, and beef, and you asked me for a Mac suggestion. Okay, how about this? I watched the Daniel Bryan DVD 3 set, and it still never gets old to me when Daniel Bryan won his first title in the WWE against The Miz. Watch that again. It's absolutely one of my all-time favorites, and it never gets old.
Yankob, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
Well, I already said.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Omega, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
You could try, if you may, to check out the first ever Shimmer show. Had a neat little dark battle royal before it with Jimmy Jacobs and Austin Aries and Alex Shelley and Delirious and the current Cesaro and some others. Had names like Chrissy Vane, Amber O'Neil, Mischief.
I thought Shimmer was
Allison
a winner.
Danger. Well, it was kind of a goofy, dark battle royal. That was the point.
Oh,
You know, Lexi Fry, Daisy Hayes, of course, Sarah Del Rey, Allison Danger, Beth Phoenix, even.
You're kidding me. Beth Phoenix was at this show? I should look it up on the internet.
yeah, do that, because that's the whole point of the segment.
Yes. Mike Speedball Bailey against Chris Hero number 2. That's what you should be looking up.
Alright, so with that said, it's time for the plugs, and that's going to go a little something like this. If you like to tweet about wrestling, we're on Twitter. You can follow us at twitter.com/smarksnark, where we try and tweet during the pay-per-views as well as the regular Monday Night Raw shows. We also have a Facebook, facebook.com/smarksnark. Most of I've configured the Hootsuite thing with the stuff so that it does the same thing on Twitter, on Facebook. So now we're posting stuff on Facebook. If you have the Facebook but not the Twitter, you can follow us on Facebook and get the same stuff. We also have a phone number that you can call into the show at 812-408-9666. That's 812-408-WOO! What else? Oh, email. Email us at smarksnark@gmail.com. And if you're a promoter or a wrestler or whatever, and we'll try and get back to you and get you on the show, because we're happy to have you. I think that's it. Yeah? Did I miss anything better?
I don't think so.
Alright, so with that said, I've been Isaac Yankum. That's Gunner up there. And Omega BR. And Nat Jester. And we would like to wish you the very best in all your past, present, and future endeavors. Good night, everybody.
Sorry about that. We wish you well in your past, present, and future endeavors.
Taking over the editing.
I just said that!
Sorry.
God, I try and do one thing, and you can't even let me have it. Oh, there's going to be so much drama after this show is over. So, shut up. It's time for Omega. Net Jester, we're still on the air. Net Jester, we're still on the air. And it's time for Omega BR to say his goodnight city name. So if you would just calm your tits.
There you go.
Thank you.
Good night, Trevor.